Go into your work folder and open up magicwand.psd. We are about to evolve into another set of wonderful Photoshop selection tools. Right here, you have the Magic Wand and you have the Quick Selection tool. The Magic Wand has been there the longest. We start with that one. The image you have opened is an old photograph of the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau. It was taken not too long after the end of World War II. So historically, I suppose it has a lot of significance. I have used this image in photo restoration. This time, though, I don't want to restore anymore. I want to modify. Now come over here and turn off Great Pyramid as a layer, and you will see a sky that you would probably never see on the Giza Plateau, and that's with clouds. It doesn't rain very often on that plateau, probably why everything lasts as long as it has. I have to, in order to get that sky in, instruct Photoshop what areas to change. The most important part of the Magic Wand tool is understanding what it does, and that's with tolerance. Now this number right here defaults to 32. Now what does that mean? Well, that number can be any number from 0 to 255. 0 is zero tolerance. 255 is like everything. The brightness levels of the pixels in an image can be any number from 0 to 255. Let's start out at 0. Come over here and click, and you ain't getting much, are you? Well, I'm saying to the computer, sample the pixel I clicked on, get its tolerance value. As soon as the tolerance changes, stop selecting. That might look like a solid color, but it's far from it. If we take the number to say, well, 10. Do that again, we get a lot more. And we could keep that up until we get to a point where we get the sky and we don't get anything else. Let's leave that alone for a second. If I come over here and change that to 255, go to the other side, and click again, I get everything because I'm including all tolerance levels. So the trick here on making the Magic Wand work for you and work good is finding an image that has a tolerance type of edge, which we do, and then figuring out the right tolerance. Now that's not the only option we have. You have another one over here called sample size. Now it says point sample by default. That means when I click, it's only sampling one single pixel, and that's typically not what you want, especially in skies and things like flesh tones. I like a little bit more. I'm going to a 3x3 average. That helps out in the selection process. Tolerance, let's put that down to, say, 40. Anti-aliasing is usually good because it'll smooth out edges for you. Contiguous means select within a range and stop when it gets to the pyramid. You might be surprised how many of the same tolerance level pixels are in this area here. And typically you leave that one on. Sample all layers if you've got more layers you're working with. So we got a 40. We change our average to 3x3. Anti-alias, contiguous. Keep it in one area and click. Actually got quite a bit. That's our first click. Now remember, shift click adds. So I get up here and shift click. That's number 2. Down here, that's number 3. And a shift click down here, number 4. So we were successful in making a rough selection of the sky. Of course, that's an easy sky. There's no clouds in it. With 4 clicks at a tolerance of 40. We might have been able to do it in 3 clicks if we had a tolerance of 45. Just depends on what you want to do. So this tool, the Magic Wand, allows me to make this type of selection if the image is right, and this one is. Let's go ahead and deselect that and come back over to the sister, and that's Quick Selection. Now, the selection or the Quick Selection tool does not have an option for tolerance. It does have a brush size, however. So what I'm going to do is use the bracket keys because I think that's better. Right bracket key, left bracket key. The bigger the area of the brush, think of it as being less and less tolerant and selecting more stuff. So sometimes you want the brush small, and sometimes you want it a little bit bigger. I'm going to take that down to about a 10. Now I'm going to start here. By default, it adds as you move. So if I click here and begin moving, I'm painting. You want to paint in the blue sky. Watch what happens, though. It selects. Just keep painting. I got that part pretty good. You can let go of the mouse if you want to and come over here. Now, it got the selection, and it did it fast, but it got too much. It got the capstone up here area, and I don't want that area selected, obviously. So I need to do something. I need to remove that area, and that's holding down the Alt key or clicking this button here for remove. As a matter of fact, watch that button up here when I hold the Alt key, and that's the Option key on a Mac, don't forget. It goes to the negative. I want a smaller brush too. I'm going to use the left bracket key, get down to about, let's try about a 6. Now with the Alt key held down, begin painting that area. And there you go. Now we've got a couple of other sparklies in here, see them? You might try this tool with the Alt key held down on those. Just paint over them. So we're okay there. If you look down here, if you want to really be retentive about this, we did get a little bit too much right there, didn't we? Now I think that requires even a smaller brush. So I'm going to, first off, zoom in on that area just a little bit. Go back to our quick selection tool. Left bracket key, I'm going down to a 1 pixel brush. And I'm going to get right in here, hold the Alt key down, and just kind of paint that area. Something like that. Okay. Double click the hand tool, and we're back in business. Let's finish it off now. What I want is that sky. I don't want to delete that area because I might change my mind. I want to make a mask. So on the Great Pyramid, I have to have the area selected that I want to see. So if I come up to the word select and go down to inverse, the area is selected. The next step is to simply create the mask right here. And there you go. Now we have other things we're going to do, like refining edges and making things look better than they are. But we're doing all this, don't forget, non-destructively, because we're using a mask over here. And then we're using either the Magic Wand tool or the Quick Selection tool. I think either one would have worked for us in this particular case.